A little progress to report today after another round of talks over the growing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The U.S. Secretary of State and his Russian counterpart agreeing to keep talking, even though today's meeting did little to quell the crisis that's seen thousands of Russian troops amassing at the border. NewsNation correspondent Kelly Meyer joining us live now from D.C. So, Kelly, you have been following this extensively for us. Where do the countries go from here?
Well, Nicole, the U.S. says that's really up to Russia right now. The top diplomat spoke for over an hour and a half today, a last-ditch attempt by the U.S. to keep Russia from invading Ukraine. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, describing the talk as useful and that he believes the U.S. and Russia are on, quote, a clearer path. Whether this diffuses the crisis, the U.S. is really in this wait-and-see mode. In an 11th hour meeting,
the bottom line is this. This is a critical moment.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov speaking face-to-face in an attempt to avert a full-scale Russian invasion into Ukraine.
And it is deeds and actions, not words, that make the difference.
Lavrov claiming that Moscow has no plans to attack. A skeptical Blinken says what happens next is up to Russia. The U.S. says it will provide a written response to Russia's demands by next week, choosing more talks and a formal exchange instead of slapping sanctions on Russia now. This prompting questions today at the White House.
What we're engaged in here is seeing what's possible as it relates to diplomacy.
Even as talks continue, the U.S. has cleared a shipment of Stinger anti-aircraft missiles to Ukrainian forces, while Moscow continues to mobilize tanks and military equipment to the region. Today, the Pentagon confirming to NewsNation they will come to the aid of allies.
What kind of message is this sending, and why aren't we taking further action?
We're going to make sure that we have options ready to reassure our allies, particularly on NATO's eastern flank, if there's another incursion and if they need that reassurance, if they need capabilities to be bolstered, we're going to do that.
And right now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on his way back to Washington. He will immediately brief the president on the meeting. And the president is set to meet with his national security team this weekend at Camp David to discuss next steps. Nicole?
All right, so lots of meetings here. Kelly, the White House was asked if there is an effort to evacuate Americans currently in Ukraine. Of course, we just have to think back to that chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. So what did they say?
Well, the White House says they are currently involved in a, quote, rigorous contingency planning, but they added they don't have an exact number of Americans in Ukraine, adding that they don't, quote, go around putting chips in Americans when they go around the world. Nicole?
All right. Kelly Meyer live for us in D.C. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.